Support for Steppin Out comes in part from the Kristovich family in honor of Mary Lou and Bill Kristovich. This program is sponsored in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support the arts and culture in the greater New Orleans area.
Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, with updates from the local restaurant, arts, and entertainment scenes. Joining me, Poppy Tooker, host of Louisiana Eats on WWNO Radio. Welcome, Miss Poppy.
Hi,
hello.
Peggy.
We are thrilled tonight. Susan Spicer, chef owner of both Rosedale and Bayona restaurants, live from Rosedale. Great to see you, Susan. Glad you're with us.
Hi.
Hi.
Me too.
Doug McCash, who covers the arts and culture scenes for the Times-Picayune, of course, New Orleans Advocate. Hey, Doug. Hello. And Alan Smason of theatercriticism.com and the Crescent City Jewish News. Welcome, Alan.
Glad to be here.
Hey there. Poppy, we never grow tired hearing about creative king cakes.
Well, and you never know where your king cake's going to come from next these days, frankly. I was so surprised when I learned that Brennan's restaurant is making king cakes this year, and they're shipping them nationwide. They're delivering them locally via the delivery service. But wait until you see these cakes. This is a only from Brennan sort of thing. Now, they have 3 different offerings. And, of course, we have a traditional king cake. So that's that purple, green, and gold beauty in the center. And then, so there it is. Oh, gosh, delish. And then there's a chocolate black and gold. So that's the Go Saints cake. But the one that's really outrageous is the pink parade, just like that pink building. And it's filled with a house-made strawberry jam, of course made from strawberries from the North Shore, and a delicious cream cheese, and it's glittery gold all over, aside from that beautiful pink color. It's delicious. You never saw a king cake like that before. So you pre-order them at Brennan'sNOLA.com. And then the other news flash with them, of course, is you can get the Brennan's king cakes and you can get 60 other different varieties, at the King Cake Hub. I was there on opening day on January 6th, and there was the King Cake Baron, Will Samuels, along with his wife Jennifer and his daughter Livia. Look at the adorable jewels on Livia's face. They were just precious, and they're doing a bang-up business over there. You can't celebrate Mardi Gras this year without visiting the King Cake Hub.
And, Poppy, we should point out that's at the Broad Theater, that location, isn't it?
Exactly.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And moving over to Rosedale with Susan Spicer. And, Susan, we are so thrilled that you're kicking off. WYES has a series of Season of Personal Chef special dinners that you can partake in. And tell us about your menu.
Okay, well, Ethan Barksdale, the chef de cuisine at Bayona, and I decided to collaborate this year. We have worked together for, I think, 12 years now, and we love to collaborate. We're very simpatico when it comes to our cooking. And so as we were talking about doing the menu, we kept kind of coming up with, we decided to go Asian, and specifically kind of a Chinese-inspired menu, despite COVID, sorry, but I don't know. Maybe that was the best choice this year, but we got excited about the menu. And so we've got 4 courses that we're going to package up to go on Tuesday, January 26th, and I have a couple of the dishes here to show you.
Yes, let's take a look. What do we have?
Well,
artist activist Shana Griffin.
Here we go. Yes.
All right. The first course, oops, wait a minute. Got to figure out, there we go. Oh, go in here. There you are.
That's better.
Oh, God, it looks good.
It is.
It looks good.
That is the the Chinese chicken and mushroom soup with a really delicious savory broth, some noodles, and we're going to do some chicken meatballs with that. A lot of luscious flavors, you know, the essence of chicken. Second course is going to be our shrimp toast with sesame seeds. It's going to be a shrimp duo. So we've got grilled shrimp and the shrimp toast and a snow pea slaw and a delicious honey sesame soy sauce that's going to go with that. And then we'll be doing a duck, because Ethan and I think we both love duck. It's one of my favorites, and you know it's so versatile. And we're going to do that with a persimmon hoisin sauce.
Oh boy!
And for the fourth course, we're going to do some rice flour dumplings with a sesame filling and a plum and lychee syrup.
Ooh, sounds great. And I understand also for the tickets, and of course available through WYES.org/events, you'll get a bottle of wine with your meal. And also in this instance, community coffee is going to give you a little something extra as well. But just to run through this, since it's a first for us, the person, you buy the ticket and you go to your restaurant, Rosedale, and pick up the meal from 4:30 to 5:30. And then at 6:30, we get to visit with you via Zoom, because everybody who buys a ticket will be sent a Zoom link, and you will kindly tell us about how you all made that meal. So I am just so thrilled about that, and we get to learn from the master here. So Susan, we're just really thrilled. We're going to come back to you in just a few minutes and talk about your restaurants. But first up, we've got Doug McCash. And Doug, we are, of course, going to be celebrating Martin Luther King Day, and we have a very serious art exhibit at the CAC right now to ponder.
Yes, the exhibit Displacing Blackness by artist-activist Shana Griffin asks some very tough questions. For instance, is gentrification the afterlife of slavery, as she puts it? How about the demolition of modest neighborhoods in order to make room for developments such as highways and hospitals? Griffin bases her point of view on her life experiences. She grew up in the Iberville housing development, and she became aware that her mom had had to move 15 times in the course of her life. This is a show that is not conventional paintings and sculpture. It's a conceptual art show in which you'll encounter rather ordinary objects that have a great deal of symbolic resonance. For instance, these stacks of bricks are remnants from the demolition of the Iberville housing development that took place in, I think, 2013. You'll find nails, square nails from the 19th century that might have been driven by enslaved people who would have had no opportunity to own the sort of houses that they were building. You'll find photos of empty lots, as we saw a little earlier, and they're seemingly empty lots, but what they are is they're photographs of where Griffin's mom's homes used to stand before they were demolished. The majority of them have been demolished over the years. So it's and this is a mock-up of a federal housing office, symbolic of the sort of bureaucracy that black people run into when trying to navigate the various systems in society. This exhibit's at the CAC. It's free this weekend, and Shana is going to speak as part of a panel. And go to the CAC website and look for the times of their presentations.
All right. Thank you so much, Doug. And we just a PS that the Ogden will have a day-long series of panels and events, also Martin Luther King Day. And over to Alan with some theater news, but sort of on a sad note to start with.
Yeah, last week I was devastated to learn of the passing of another leading theater figure due to COVID-19. That was Gregory Johnson, who was the executive director of the Montana Rep for more than 29 years before he retired to come to New Orleans to be part of our local scene here for the past 3 years. He notably directed Los Coyotes at the Fortress of Lushington. He worked with the Radical Buffoons. Greg had also been the director of the trilogy of John Bigonet's Rising Water plays, which I had helped present online this summer. Both John and I had talked when we learned of his passing and talked about how wonderful he made those shows. Each one of those presentations was really pulled up because of Gregory's work, and I learned so much by working with him. I learned about how he had worked with the actors to raise them up when they were, needing to be given kudos, and of course gently nudge them along, as it were, when he thought they could get more music out of their dialogue, etc. Greg, by the way, was born in New York City. He grew up in New Jersey, and he was on Broadway. His titles included Steel Magnolias and Crimes of the Heart. He also was closely associated as director of the Broadway show of Biloxi Blues, and later on the touring national production that they did of that. So again, a big loss here. Greg was also a board member of the NOLA Project, and of course our condolences to his wife, the playwright Anita Vatchell, and the rest of the members of his family. Meanwhile, Janet Shea is rehearsing the cast of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest in preparation for their show coming up at the end of the month. Here's a few of the photos taken by Joshua Frederick. Notice they are all wearing masks, clear masks, and they'll have them on stage as well. And again, that's what the rehearsal process is like now. They can't necessarily socially distance on stage. They can, however, all wear masks. And again, it'll be opening up on January the 29th through February the 7th at the Jefferson Performing Arts Center on Airline Drive. Keep that in mind, that tickets are available now.
Alan, is Janet Nurse Ratched?
No, she's the director.
Oh, okay. Okay, I was wondering. Okay, I can just imagine her probably being a really good.
She probably is. Would yes, but I think she wants to be the director in this particular case.
Understand.
All right. Oh, now meanwhile, Brittany Williams. That name may ring a bell. Brittany is actually the reigning stage door idol, but she's also, by way of I guess explanation, a nerd. In terms of her love of science fiction, and she recently was published as an author in a collection of science fiction lore. Well, her pod play, which is titled Spare Mission 1, Swipe, Swipe, Snipe, is actually going to be the next of the pod plays for the NOLA Project. It sounds like a futuristic dating app, but it's being launched now and will be available as part of the NOLA Project's pod plays for $10 each, or all four for $35. More information on nolaproject.com. And Peggy, finally I wanted to talk about Shankira Nafak. She is the playwright of the Chonburi International Hotel and Butterfly Club. Chonburi is her semi-autobiographical story of her journey to Thailand and what would some people call reassignment surgery. She refers to it as confirmation surgery. The surgeon involved in Thailand has a unique form of surgery that apparently draws patients from all around the world. Chonburi tells the story of what it means to journey to a foreign world with other foreign nationals, all of whom are at various stages of either pre or post recovery. And it's really a communal story. It's a story about all of these residents of this hotel who support each other either pre or post op. And basically it's also based on the George S. Kaufman and Edna Ferber play Stage Door, in which the residents of a rooming house who want to be on Broadway all talk to each other, support each other, and help them during various stages of their careers.
Okay, thank you so much. And back over to Poppy. And Poppy, my goodness gracious, a brand new restaurant. Some good news, huh?
Well, kudos to those folks at Creole Concepts, because they have powered through this pandemic like nobody else, opening a new restaurant in these times. And this is the second one, because they did a branch of the Boulevard that's out at Elmwood. And, I will not be surprised if Tavola, their new incarnation, isn't going to multiply too, because it's fabulous. It's open. This is a lakeside location, so that's where Bravo used to be. There's ample outdoor dining space, which is so important right now. Indoors, there's a wood-burning oven for their house-made focaccia and their Neapolitan-style pizza. But, oh my goodness, the food. There's a grilled swordfish that's fabulous. That's cheeses and different sorts of meats that you can get. Their Lasagna Involtini is really interesting. That's a new take on lasagna. Veal Parmigiano. There's things like stuffed artichokes, calamari, campanata, a lot of my very favorite things. There's a great big wine list. They're serving seasonal frozen cocktails starting this season with limoncello and king cake, of course. There's happy hour daily from 2 until 6, 7 days a week with $5 wine, $6 cocktails, $3 for beer, half off pizza. There's all-day specials on Wednesday and Thursday. One is half off all bottles of wine. Anyway, go try out Tavola, because you never know when that's going to multiply. It's going to be a winner.
All right, thank you so much. And we're going to move back over to Susan to talk about the two restaurants that are very prominent in her life. And of course, starting out with Bayona. How long have you had Bayona, Susan?
It opened in April or March of 1990.
Wow.
So 31 years.
I actually remember when it was the Maison Pierre, and it's in this precious.
I do too.
You do? In this precious house, a cottage on Dauphine Street, and it's so beautiful inside too. Did you have to do much renovation when you first bought it, or was there much to do?
Yes.
Do you recall?
Well, it was more about redecorating, but also they weren't using the patio for dining, which, was very puzzling to me. And of course, that was the very first thing, I said is like, gotta use that patio. And Regina Keever, my partner, has really been responsible for the decor and things. I did pick the terracotta color for the walls, so that was my one contribution to the decor.
It is so charming. And then more recently, Rosedale. Now, how long has Rosedale been open? I know that's the new kid on the block for you.
Well, it's already been our 4.5 years.
Wow.
So we opened in, I know.
And if you haven't been there yet, it's right, isn't that fun? Of course, we're talking Lakeview, Rosedale, right off Canal Boulevard. And I guess you call it Old Lakeview. The dollar store is Rosedale. I guess you use that as an example.
It's kind of,
Rosedale,
if you want to get really
2 blocks from
specific.
Go ahead.
Yeah. If you want to get real specific, you can call it Navarre. It's near Navarre Boulevard,
That's right.
which
Navarre.
runs right,
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
And it
you
used
guys
to
are
be
familiar with
Was it
Navarre?
a police station? Was it a police station? What
It
was
was.
it? Okay.
Yes. It was. It was like a holding tank, kind of. I know a lot of people that said they spent a night here, and
Okay, it's very charming. You all have done such a beautiful job with the carpentry work, and it's casual. I mean, and the food is so delicious. Now I know you also, we don't have a picture of it, but you've expanded your outside in the back too, didn't you?
Well, we didn't so much expand as kind of try to make it. Well, we've added tables, but the space has always been there. We've just tried to make it more comfortable and more welcoming. My nephew, who was in that picture with me, is the manager here, and he's worked really hard. Jonas is his name, and he's done a lot of work on the outdoors. And so the patio, we got a lot of heaters. We have a fire pit. We have. It's just gotten really nice. A lot more landscaping, and I love, as I said before, dining outside is just, one of my favorite things.
Yeah. I just love the casualness of it. I mean, it's certainly elegant, but it's very warm and welcoming. My husband and I so enjoy going there. And interestingly, it's right along, actually, the railroad tracks, and those railroad tracks are very rarely used. But there's almost like a country feel to being in the middle of old Lakeview. I love that ambience.
It's a little undiscovered spot. Well, that's why we call it hard to find, easy to get to. And I just also, of course, Poppy, I have to give a shout out to my husband, Chip Martinson, who made the furniture and built the bars. Wow. And it's a very personal restaurant for me.
It really is. It's great. And once again, you've got a great website with Rosedale, and your Facebook. The Facebook page is really fun and friendly as well, and for Bayona as well. We're just so thrilled that you're.
Thank you.
We're coming you're coming to us from the restaurant, and we want to thank you again, though, for being a part of the season of professional chefs. You are the maiden voyage on this, and this is the first for our event. But we are thrilled. And a reminder, once again, wyes.org/events with all the details. But let me just say that the meal is totally cooked. Yeah, for those of you all, we want you to buy a ticket, and it's helping WYES. And so you take it home, and then you get to watch Susan talk and her fellow chef, Mr. Barksdale, talking about, how they came to do it. So I just can't think of anything that would be more fun than that. And we thank you so much for your
we're gonna
cooperation.
have a good time.
Thank you very, very much. We really
My
appreciate
pleasure.
that. Absolutely. And back over to Doug. We're in the Mardi Gras mode, aren't we?
We are, believe it or not. Who'd that say we can't celebrate Mardi Gras, right?
Right.
So COVID obviously made parading impossible, but as the mayor said, Carnival's not canceled. It's just going to be different. And thanks to a bunch of creative folks around the city, things are popping up around us. The thing to do this year is to convert your porch or your stoop or your balcony into a house float. The first I heard of it was from the Krewe de Vue. They began talking about doing some sort of over-the-top house decoration this year. Not long after that, I heard from Megan Boudreau of the Crew of House Floats, and she is organizing, calls herself the captain of house floats. The Admiral of House Floats. She is organizing neighborhood stationary parades where, various neighborhoods will get together and have houses decorated. Crew of Red Beans made it into a charity. They recognize that a lot of carnival artists are out of work, so they're raising funds to rehire them and to decorate houses. And finally, I've heard that Muses is going to decorate a house uptown. The most spectacular houses so far are certainly the ones done by the professional float builders that Red Beans has employed. But the thing I'm most eager to see are the do-it-yourself decorations that are going to pop up, because for me, there's the possibility that we're going to see the same kind of creativity that we see in costuming. So I say call it architectural costuming this year.
Absolutely. So once again, hire a MardiGrasArtist.com. More information about them. Go to that website as well, and also the Crew of House Floats.
Go to the Crew of House Floats.
I think it's only growing, isn't it? It keeps on growing.
Yeah, I find them all the time, and I think we're just seeing the start of the wave.
Okay, great. Thank you. And over to Alan with anytime you want to talk about Anaïs St. John and Harry Mayronne is a good time for me.
Well, this is
They're
the
so great.
season. This is the season. They actually, talk about Mardi Gras. You've got Rivertown behind me. Next week we'll talk about And the Ball and All that's going to be starting over there. But Harry and Anaïs have been doing these porch festivals every Saturday around 4 o'clock. You can tune in, and they have a Venmo tip jar. But they've been doing different shows that have been wonderful. And of course, what's not to love about Anaïs? I mean, of course, we're looking at her credentials there as the teacher of vocal and what have you over at Trinity. But she is just a spectacular talent. She got involved with the Yale Cabaret series that they had in the summertime, and Harry has been a long-time accompanist for her. Harry and Anaïs are going to be my guests coming up on this Monday, January the 18th at 8 o'clock, and they're going to talk a little bit about what they're doing. Harry will talk about some of his projects, his work with puppetry that he has, where he makes the marionettes, and Anaïs has some other things to talk about as well. We'll share all of that. And then coming up the following week on the 25th of January, I want to remind everybody, Sarah Zogby is going to be our confirmed guest. We're going to hopefully have some other people to talk about mental health issues. We've all had some rather rough times the past week or so, and I think with everything going on with the pandemic and political challenges and everything that's going on, we really need to talk about mental health and people really keeping a hold of where they are and getting some good advice on how to make it through these turbulent times. Meanwhile, we are going to continue to talk about what's going on with Seth Rudetsky, the mayor of Broadway, as it were. Seth is going to have on this week none other than Kelli O'Hara, and there I am with Kelli, the Tony Award winner for The King and I, many times nominated as an actress on Broadway. Kelli's got one of the most spectacular voices you'll ever hear, and VIP tickets are now available where for $50, including the regular show, which is $25, you can see and witness Kelli and Seth rehearse their act that's going to be on live later on in the evening. So again, something to think about. You can see Kelli and Seth on Sunday, and then it's going to be rebroadcast on Monday with the VIP tickets. If you want to find out more about that, go to SethConcertSeries.com.
Thank you so much. And now time for our picks of the week. Poppy.
You know, Peggy, I love to teach cooking, so I've decided we're going to have a Mardi Gras cooking class via Zoom on February 6th, sponsored by Crystal Hot Sauce, Milk Punch, Andouille Creole, Mustard Cream Sauce, Dirty Boys, learned that one from Frank Brightston, and of course King Cake will be involved.
All right. Susan, tell us about a special lunch you've got going.
We're doing Friday lunch again at Bayona, and it's the Ooh La La, which everybody loves because that means champagne. And Ethan has great, he's, got a great menu. You can pick your, choices of 3 courses. He's also working on some special Valentine's menus and, Carnival. He's got a lot going on, so check out the Bayona Facebook.
And thanks again. It's great to have you with us. And moving over to Doug. Doug.
Send me your float houses. Find me on NOLA.com. We're trying to make a list of photographs of all the houses so that you can scroll through them and see what they look like. Look for a story called Float Houses Are Popping Up All Over New Orleans for Mardi Gras. Okay. And send them my way.
Thank you. Alan.
Well, earlier today, JPAS had a discussion about the significance of Paul Robeson. I want to remind everybody I had a wonderful conversation with Stogie Kenyatta, who's the star of The World Is My Home, coming up 2 shows only at Jefferson Performing Arts Center, all about Paul Robeson, and this is going to be something you're not going to want to miss.
Okay, thank you. Now my picks. Tomorrow, Saturday, there will be a grand opening of Rick Ragnola's new resale store. And it's also a sewing studio. From 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Regular hours will be Wednesdays through Mondays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's at 1927 Martin Luther King Boulevard, right there at Aretha Castle Haley Boulevard. And my goodness, for sale are costumes from movies that were made in New Orleans, textiles, crafts, all kinds of goodies. And they also hold these sewing classes on a regular basis for all ages. Go to rickragnola.com for more info on that. The Friends of Music will be presenting a free virtual concert featuring nationally known performers, violinist Arno Sussman, and pianist Michael Brown. That's Saturday evening at 7 p.m. And they'll be playing works by Dvorak and Beethoven, among others. Go to friendsofmusic.org. Thank you all so very much. Thank you, my pals. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Support for Steppin Out comes in part from the Kristovich family in honor of Mary Lou and Bill Kristovich. This program is sponsored in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support the arts and culture in the greater New Orleans area.